Hey everyone, and welcome to today's explainer. So look, we all know building a startup is notoriously hard. But honestly, if you don't have the right framework for your marketing, you are just fighting this totally unnecessary uphill battle. So today we are diving into a complete startup marketing funnel tutorial. We're going to break down exactly how to turn all that random, chaotic effort into a smooth, predictable growth engine. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, most startups skip this, and then they wonder why their marketing isn't working. It's kind of a harsh reality, but you could have literally the most incredible, life-changing product in the world, and if you skip building a structured funnel, you're just going to be left scratching your head. You don't need a funnel just because it's some fancy industry buzzword. You need it because the alternative is, frankly, pretty brutal. Because without that structure, you are basically just throwing content into an empty void. Think of it like tossing a beautifully designed flyer out the window of a car going 70 miles an hour down the highway. You're writing articles, you're posting, you're burning through cash, and it just vanishes into thin air. It is exhausting. A real funnel fixes this. It makes sure that every single piece of content you put out there has a specific job to do and a clear destination. Okay, so that brings us to step 1, know who you're talking to. You have to get super clear here. Who exactly are they, and what is that one specific problem that literally keeps them up at night? Before you spend a single dime on ads, you need to know this intimately. And crucially, you need to use the exact words they use. Like, if your customer says they are overwhelmed by spreadsheets, you don't go out and market a data matrix solution. No, you market an end to their spreadsheet overwhelm. If you get the wording wrong and miss the mark on that 2 a.m. problem, the rest of the funnel just completely falls apart. Once you've nailed that down, we move right into step 2, build awareness. To actually get found, you've got a toolkit. You've got content marketing, social media, SEO, and paid ads. But, and this is a really big but, you don't just blindly use all of them at once. You strictly go where your specific audience is already hanging out. If they love highly visual stuff, go to visual platforms. If they're actively Googling solutions, you lean heavy into SEO. Your one and only job right now is just to grab their attention and earn a click. You're not trying to sell the whole company yet. So where does that click actually take them? Straight to step 3, capture the lead. Now, pay attention here because this is arguably the most important pivot point in the entire process. Once someone clicks, you have to trade genuine, undeniable value for their contact info. A free resource, a newsletter, a demo, maybe it's a super actionable cheat sheet for B2B folks, or an exclusive discount for e-commerce. Whatever it is, it has to be totally irresistible. Our sources show this is exactly where most startups drop the ball. They do all the hard work to get the traffic, and then, poof, they fail to actually capture the lead. But when you do successfully capture it, you seamlessly transition into step 4, nurture until they're ready. Let's be real. Almost nobody is ready to buy the very first time they meet you. And that's completely fine. This is where your nurturing comes in. Email sequences, clever retargeting, and consistently helpful content. You are playing the long game here, my friends. The goal is just to keep showing up, adding value, until the timing is finally right for them to pull the trigger. It's all about building that psychological trust rather than just forcing a hard sell on day one. Which leads us to the final and most lucrative stage. Step 5, convert and then keep them. 10 times. I really want that to sink in for a second. Yes, you obviously have to close that initial sale. But right after they convert, your focus has to instantly shift to retention. Why? Because a customer who buys from you twice is worth 10 times more than a one-time buyer. 10 times! The real explosive exponential growth for any startup happens when you actually keep the people you worked so incredibly hard to get in the first place. So let's zoom out and look at the whole shebang here. Awareness, capture, nurture, convert, retain. See how it just flows logically from one step to the next? It's simple on paper, for sure, but it is absolute dynamite in practice. When you connect these 5 stages, you finally stop throwing content into the void and you actually build a predictable machine. Your biggest takeaway for today is to just take action. Start laying down this foundation, build out the 5 steps, and you can optimize it as you grow. Don't stress about being perfect on day one. If you found this helpful, be sure to follow for more no-fluff startup marketing tips. But before we officially wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Which of these 5 steps is your startup neglecting the most right now? And what is one single thing you can do today to fix it? Think about it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.